get started. Pablo, pleasure to get to talk to you at, you said 9:30 in the morning over in Japan. It's 7:30 here. And I
Wow.
always love the time difference change. But I'll stop talking. I wanted to hear more about you. We got to meet briefly whenever I was in Fukuoka last time. What was that, a few months ago in March? Yeah, the time's flying. But we got to meet very briefly. And I'm sad we only got a few days there. I wish we could have been able to, shoot this in person, but that's all right. We'll shoot another one next time I'm in person too and catch up. But if you wouldn't mind giving just kind of a quick your story, kind of your background, kind of where you're from, where you're at now, how you got there, and then we'll definitely get into kind of the startup you're working on right now. But it's always good to start off with the origin story. So take it away.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm using this new phone system with light, so that's maybe some flash though. So yeah, well, I'm Pablo Riveros. I'm originally from Chile. Chilean born, but I spent half of my life, like my 20s in Chile, and then I moved to Australia, in which I did my postgraduate studies, and after that I moved to Japan.
I love it. What got you? So why the move to Australia, and then why the move to Japan?
Well, I think it was since I was very young. I was very fascinated with the Australian lifestyle, like a little bit chill, surf, and in my 20s, I was 23 years old. I have a company. It was my first company. That it was a kayaking outdoor company that I sold, and that's all money. I decided to move to Australia. The reason was to improve my English, to a little bit, and I get an job opportunity in the tourist industry in Australia. That was my first goal. Yeah,
I love it. It's so interesting. I think especially in Japan or in other places around the world, if people want to improve their English, they usually choose the U.S. or England. You chose Australia.
That's right.
Yeah, a very interesting English, I will tell you.
That's right. I think it's very Aussie, Australia.
Very Aussie, definitely. So why the move from there to Japan?
Well, I was after I spent quite a long time in Australia, around 15 years in and out, and during that time I live in Europe. But I was very comfortable. I got a really comfortable job at the university, and then I participate actually in an international project, working with a university in Japan, in the Kyushu University, and that brought me to Japan. And the reason that I came here was because I was working in some exciting project focused on smart campus technologies and digital campus and all these kind of 3D technologies. That I came to Japan, actually to Fukuoka City, to do a lecture on that project. That's the first time that's why I came to Fukuoka.
Nice. How many years ago was that?
Was back in 2015.
Gotcha. Okay, so you've been there about a decade now. Nice.
Yeah. Well.
Or you visited the first time, and then
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I like it. So obviously there's a ton of tech all over Japan, but Tokyo still kind of holds like it's like the Silicon Valley right now of Japan, and it's got the largest population, it's the largest city on earth. So of course it's going to have a lot of tech. So why Fukuoka? I'm sure you've traveled all over the rest of Japan. Why stay in Fukuoka? What makes it stand out to you?
Well, good question. Actually, you're right. I spent quite a lot of time in different cities exploring the ecosystem in Osaka and Tokyo as well. But one of the reasons that I chose Fukuoka was because when I came here during that university project, I was invited to participate in some consulting job. So that was the first time that I felt so easy to potentially expand business here. And the other thing was the support. As you can, maybe you went here, you went to MGN, Fukuoka Growth, and that was actually government backup support that you can actually potentially expand your business here. So they actually invite me in certain way, actually, to apply for a startup and incorporate my company here. And it was during the pandemic in which it was they were attracting talent, global talent, and they invite me and they mentioned actually we have a free incorporation service, but you have to do an online training. So I did that for a month, and actually then I incorporated my company. So was one of the reasons was that the support, but also the connectivity. As you can imagine, Tokyo and Osaka is a large scale of mega cities, and entry in those cities are very complex, especially for startups. Comparing with Fukuoka, it's a very small scale city, but it's very popular for the POC project. So I thought that was very, very good. The second point. And the third point is the cost of living. Cost of living, cities like Osaka are very expensive. Fukuoka is well known, according to the data, is very, in terms of living, is affordable, and a very compact city as well. So I love to ride a bicycle, and this I commute by bicycle, nice food, and etc. So there are a lot of things to Fukuoka.
I like it. No, all great points. And I think probably twice a day, every day that we were there, we were reminded how great of a food city Fukuoka was. Apparently it's the best food city. I will say all the people that told us it was the best food city were from Fukuoka, so they might be a little biased, but that's okay. But no, it really was a great city. I love that it was like right there on the water. I liked how walkable it was. I think we had some free time one night, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go for a little walk and check out this city. I think I walked like halfway through it by accident. And then I realized how far I was, and was like, oh, let's go back to the hotel before it gets too late. But no, it's a really beautiful city, really compact. You're right, right there on the water. Great location if you wanted to fly from their airport to like Seoul or Thailand or anywhere else.
Absolutely.
And you can even
just 1 hour from Taipei City. 1 hour.
Yeah, you can take a boat from there to what's the city in South Korea?
Busan.
Yeah, to Busan. Yeah, I kept thinking of like the famous movie that came out recently. Busan. So yeah, you can take it to there and then a train to Seoul if you want. So I'm like, that's so cool. You could just spend a weekend in Seoul, and then be back.
You can ride a bicycle. Your bicycle. There's a ferry. You bring your bicycle in the ferry, and then you are in another country. So that's how cool it is.
That's hilarious. I love that. Well, perfect. I think we've talked long enough about, kind of the origin story. I really wanted to hear more about the current startup that you're working on and some of the success that you've had. But first, tell me, kind of what are you working on? It's please correct me if I'm wrong, Manabu Hub, right?
That's correct, Manabu Hubs.
Perfect.
Yeah, Manabu Hubs. Manabu Hubs, Manabu, it means learn, educate. That's kind of, we decided to put the name, Japanese name, Manabu. And Hubs, the reason is because we started as a community long time ago. We started with Facebook group in different cities in Australia. And then when I moved to Japan, I was the lack of a lot of international community in Fukuoka. So we built a Fukuoka Startup Collective. That is a collective group of founders, entrepreneurs. And since the community started growing, we moved into an incubator. And what we do at the moment, we help startup founders to enter in Japanese market with our networking events. We host a demo day light talk every month in Fukuoka. And we also host casual gatherings for founders. For example, today at 12 p.m., every Wednesday from 12 to 1, we host the Bento Lunch Club. And it's a casual gathering with lunch. People can bring the sandwich, bentos. And it's not networking, it's not pitching, it's just chill. And I thought I brought to this concept from Australia, because in Australia it's very common to have walking lunch or lunch outside the park. But in Japan, people tend to eat in front of the desk, in front of the laptop. So I was so shocked to see what's going on. All the people that's not Australian culture. So I brought a little bit of Australian culture, and people love it. So we started doing 3 years ago, and now it's growing. So every Wednesday, today at 12 p.m., we gather in all the founders. And that's kind of what we do. And not only help founders to expand in Japan, but also we have a very strong networking in Taipei, Taiwan, and also in Australia. So we also help some startup founders from Japan to expand operations in Taiwan or in Australia. Recently, we are helping some companies from Japan to expand operations in Taipei City. And we connect with our partners there. And also because we start building so many projects, we become partnered with one of the largest organizations in Taiwan called a Digital Gold Card Community that allow people, all 40 years founders, to expand operations businesses in Taiwan, but also obtain the digital gold card visa. And now actually our members, Manabu members, can also get a fast track to apply for that visa. So if you want to live in Taiwan.
What visas are those?
Digital gold card visa. Digital gold card. It's not a gold card like you guys you have in US, like you need a lot, 1 million US. No.
Those are in Taiwan though?
In Taiwan.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't heard of those in Japan yet. So. How long do those last for?
In the beginning, up to 3 years. And then they can renovate it for more time. Or you can actually apply for permanent resident after. Actually, I'm one of the visa holders as well. And for members of Manabu, our community, also they got that visa as well. That's because we have a very strong partnership with them. But that's kind of, to give you an understanding that we do, we help founders not only to enter in our ecosystem to expand operations, but also we have a consolidated networking and partners with government in Taiwan and in Australia as well. So it's an incubator that we not only offer startup program, accelerator, but more than that, it's kind of tech community house.
Yeah, I like it, man. I think the more the merrier. The more things like that, the better. Talk to me about kind of. I'll cut this part out because I'm blanking right now. I want to talk about like how things have changed in Japan previously or later. But I want to say, tell me more about some of the success stories that you've had in startups that you guys have worked with, or what are the type of startups that you guys are seeing working with Manabu Hubs to come in?
So we are very agnostic. We got people from green tech, AI. So to give you an example, we got a founder moved from US recently. It's been 6 months here. He used to run on a large startup. He exited the company, and now he opened incorporated a new company in US. But then he decided to move to Fukuoka actually to run his entire operations. And his wife is also Japanese as well. That's one of the reasons. But it was one of the very successful founders that joined our ecosystem because he participated in Demo Day when he was in Australia. So he joined online Demo Day. He understood our incubator, and then he moved to Fukuoka. That was that's one of the stories. And there's another founder from Italy that he recently moved. He's been here almost 1 year. He's running an AI startup that is focused in IoT devices for the rainforest. So he collects data from rainforest, like the sounds of the bird, the oxygen of the rainforest. It's really sophisticated technology and IoT devices. And he also moved here. He's actually the CTO, and he's running his businesses here. He's very active in our ecosystem. This is another founder that we are collaborating with him. And 3 years ago, we got on a Taipei company, nothing related to AI or robots. It was a bike company that we helped them to expand and find providers and distributors in Japan as well. So that's kind of 3 examples that we are very agnostic. No, we are not focused on one specific startup.
No, I like stuff like that because it allows you to think about different problems in different ways every day. Well, the students in my program, they're all working on very different ideas. So, one is AI, one is keyboard, one is, clothing company. And it's very fun to, have to shut that file off of my head and open up another one. And all right, how are we going to work with this and different customers, a different founder? And it's fun. I like that stuff. But talk to me more about, you said your first visit was about a decade ago to Japan. And now, you've been living there for a few years. What are some of the mistakes that a lot of founders make when they're wanting to move to Japan? And then how have you just seen the ecosystem change over the last 5-6 years?
First, Japan has changed a lot. So before, it was really difficult to get a visa, even think about living in Japan. There was a lot of strict policies, immigration policies, still now, but more flexible. And also, normally founders tend to choose the biggest city. The trend is Tokyo, Osaka. Kyoto, etc. But when I moved here, one of the reasons I chose Fukuoka was because it was a kind of growing city. I knew about Fukuoka, but it was not so popular. So when I moved here, I thought, oh, that's a really interesting city. And the reason was because it was very small, compact, and market entry. So if you choose a big city, mega city, it's really hard to penetrate in that market. Competition is really high, cost is really expensive, and so on. So that was I thought it was really important for me to choose a small compact city, and Fukuoka was the best. The second thing one thing is very important to understand that in those biggest cities, there's so many communities. So, for example, there are many AI communities in Tokyo, AI green tech communities. They're everywhere. So if you don't imagine, every week you can see thousands of different events. That it is really hard to join those events, right? So you spend all the time in the train rather than connect with people. That's very different than Fukuoka, because Fukuoka is super compact. I'm very proud to say that Manabu Hubs, we are the growers, and we run really exciting projects here in the city. So people know about us. I don't know how they know about us, but they found in our newsletter and so on. So I think when you live in a small city, it's very easy to connect with the local entrepreneurs. And the challenge is that normally entrepreneurs, founders face in Japan, I think is the language barrier is the first thing. So you have to understand when you move to Japan, you really need to speak or try to understand the language. And there's a lot of secret codes that the business in Japan, only Japanese people can understand that. So it's very important to see that when you start to launch a new company, you have to put in a Japanese face that could lead your project, that could be a business manager. This is super important. And the third actually is networking. Here, during the pandemic, it was many online events, but after the pandemic, Japanese people, especially in Asia, people really like the relationship. They really like to see who you are. Before to sign a huge deal, they need to know you in a more informal way as well. So it's not only formal way, but also you need to go to drinking with them, maybe get a little bit more experience just to get a cup of coffee. So I think in Japan, in these three areas, super important. You need to understand the cultural differences as well, language, and also connect and networking is super, super important.
Nice. So I have to ask, how is your Japanese?
My Japanese, 日本語少しです。It's a little bit better, getting better, because the community of Manabu Incubator is very international, so we speak English all the time, but it's getting better.
Good, man. I like it. So I like to use Netflix with no English subtitles and Duolingo as my vocabulary and immersion learning. Any tips or advice that you would give?
Oh, well, I'm not the best because I communicate all the time in English, but the best advice for anyone who want to speak Japanese or learn Japanese, come to Japan, come to Fukuoka, go to a standing bar and just start talking with random people. That's the best thing. Because you grab a drink and you start whatever. They will understand you. That's the fascinating about Japan.
There's no substitute for immersion. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely, immersion is the best.
But that's also a really good point that if you've been living there for a couple of years and you're able to say that your Japanese isn't fluent by now because there's so many English speakers and so many startup founders from all over the world, that's a pretty good sign of how diverse and how international Fukuoka has become. I was talking with somebody from Yokohama recently, and we were talking about the same thing there. There's so many English speakers who are bringing their startups to Japan. And cool. Okay, so for all the startup founders that are around the world who are interested in Japan, you don't need to worry about moving to Japan and nobody speaking English. So there will be a few.
But one thing is, please learn the language.
Yes.
It's just the culture. You really need to understand. I do all my best to speak in Japanese, or unless broken Japanese, be polite, and unless arigato gozaimasu, konnichiwa. It's very important that you need to connect because it's Japan. It's not English speaking, it's Spanish speaking country. It's Japan, and any connection, business connection, 100% Japanese preferred Japanese language. So it's important to keep in mind.
Very much so. Well, perfect. I did want to ask though, as somebody who has started and sold business before, I moved around the world, I work with students in very early stage and first time founders. What's one piece of advice that you would give to any early stage founder?
Don't give up and don't worry to change the ideas. When I was 23, I never imagined to open a kayaking company, tourist company. I never imagined to work in a different industry, university. So just try to get as much experience you can. Try to meet as much as possible you can and learn from the globalization. It's super important to get out of your comfort zone and meet a lot of people from different countries, because you can meet understand so many different languages, but at the same time people, and it's super important to get out of your comfort zone and explore the world as well. Because learning in different countries, you can learn a lot of culture, but also how business run in different countries.
Don't give up. Perfect. Love it. Anything you want to shout out? Any events coming up? Anywhere people can reach you?
Yes, absolutely. First, I would like to say thank you so much, Graham, for this invitation. And the second thing I would like to give you to one of your members, listeners, I will share with you one discount code, so they can become a member of Manabu Hubs. It's 1 year subscription. It's $290 the price, but I will be more than happy to give you to your audience. That's what I can share with you later. And the second, we are hosting a 5th Demo Day Live Talk on July 10th. It's going to be in partnership with the Venture Café, and we are hosting a lot of startups coming from Taiwan, Australia, and Switzerland as well. So we will have a really interesting event. So I'm more than happy to invite your community as well.
Please do. Will you be filming that or having a live stream video of it? Or?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's hosted during the Thursday gathering at Venture Café Fukuoka. So definitely they will do the recording. So I will be more than happy to share this soon.
Please do. Yeah, I'll share it. I'll share the link in the description of this video, and then I'll share it on my LinkedIn as well. Because I'd love to see what kind of thing. I mean, you mentioned FGN, your company, Manabu Hubs. You mentioned Venture Cafe. I didn't even know they had a Fukuoka branch, but that makes sense. The guy I was talking to was from Venture Cafe Tokyo, which is in Yokohama. But man, sounds like there's a lot of things happening that I wish we would have had more time to go and see them all in Fukuoka, but I'm sure I'll be back later this year. So
definitely, you need to.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you in person again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.